Most famous artists don't talk about this, but they all have something in common, which is style. Though it may differ from one artist to another. For example, Leonardo da Vinci, Pablo Picasso, Michelangelo, Bob Ross, and ZHC, which is more focused on the pop culture. So why am I doing this? I'm a self-taught artist who just draws occasionally. In short, it's just a hobby for me. However, recently I decided to take my artwork seriously and make a career out of it. But the problem is, I don't have an art style. So yesterday I did my own little research and found myself on YouTube because I don't want to read books and I'm impatient at the moment. So I found a ton of videos talking about art style and how you can develop your own art style, but this one video really stood out for me, which has 5 steps to creating your own art style, which was created by Kesh, a well-respected art YouTuber. But are these steps really helpful? Let's try them out. Alright, so the first step, as he states, is finding your own element. The way I am understanding this is elements are different methods or styles used together to create an artwork or art piece. For example, in music, instruments like violin, piano, and drums sound different from one another, but when played together, they create a song. Now, the sounds from each instrument, we may call them elements. So now we can apply that into art. Now, let me apply these elements. To begin with, when I'm drawing, I start off light, then build up from it. I do this so that I have room to erase mistakes made during the process. However, I'm drawing an imaginary figure because most of my artwork I copy from a reference picture. And that can be hard for me to observe because most of my attention will be focused on a reference picture. So during this sketch, I realized that my elements are in the way I lay down the lines. From light lines to thick lines in specific areas with ease. So this is just a rough sketch for observational purposes. And this leads me to the second step, which is finding a tribe. Alright, tribe is the same as finding a community of artists in the same category as you, or even better. In my case, I like drawing realistic stuff, and I work with pencils and graphite. So the first place we can find a community or a tribe is through social media. First, I have to start with Instagram and use the hashtag method to find artists. So far, I did this for an hour and I found one who really stands out. And the page name is Artwork Animals. Their main objective is drawing animals or paint animals, and I really get inspired by such stuff. The second one, I went on Twitter where I found Richard Blake, who really pushes the boundaries of perspective drawing, and I just love the way he paints. And this leads me to YouTube. So here on YouTube there are 2 guys who I look up to, which is Kesh, of course, the one who made the video I'm referencing to, and Jazza, who really creates fun art. And the way he does things is quite interesting. Now, so where do we go from here? It's to copy them. As you can see, we have 4 guys I'm looking up to, or 4 communities I'm looking up to. So I'll just go on Twitter and check Richard Blake's art. And that's the type of work I will copy today. I'm using a number 2 pencil and 4B pencil. So today I just want to familiarize myself with perspective type of art. That's why I used Richard Blake's work. Although his work is more of paintings than actual drawings. So there is a lot involved, like paying attention to detail and being accurate. In my understanding, the main point for copying is to understand how other artists create their art, like the medium they use, the type of materials and emotion behind the painting or any form of art. So it's not about copying the exact artwork from another artist and then put your label on it and call it your own, because that will be an copyright infringement. So here's the final sketch. How does it look? And this leads me to the 4th step, and it's quite similar to this one actually, which he states, still like an artist. The way I understand this point, it's all about clarity. It may look like I'm stealing, but the matter of fact is I'm borrowing. So most times as creatives, we observe our surroundings, the food we eat, music we listen to, and things we see from the internet. So through observation is where we get clarity, and through clarity, that's where we borrow. I hate the word stealing. I'm a big fan of comic books, and I observe how they showcase chaos in each color and still create intrigue. So I will borrow the way they create chaotic events. Next, I have been listening to The Weeknd a lot recently, and I will borrow the vintage vibe and incorporate it to my art. And lastly, I am intrigued on the way baby animals look like, especially the eyes. They look innocent and cute at the same time, so I'll borrow that and incorporate it into my artwork too. Alright, now I'm pretty confident of the 4 steps I've learned. I have to combine them and create a package, which means I have to go through these stages if I want to solidify my style. However, the package is not complete without the last step, which is putting you in your art. I believe this means I have to customize it to my liking. In short, I have to put me in my style. Let me summarize and conclude. To begin with, I plan my art to my liking, then practice and see how it might look like and solve issues which may occur during the actual drawing. And finally, draw the main art itself, and I call this method PPE, which means plan, practice and execution. I made it myself. So if I combine this PPE with the previous package, I may come up with a solid style of my own. From now on, all I need is to just practice. However, thank you Kesh for the tips. And all of you, if you want to see the reference video, is in the description below. Thanks for learning with me, and see you soon.